Hey, it's Noga2 here with another comic book haul. Um, First, as always, I want to thank everyone who has taken their time to watch my videos and post a comment. I appreciate it. Um, so let's just get started. Uh, these books are going to consist of a haul that I got from a small Comic Con that occurs annually where I am, near where I live. Um, it's kind of cool is that there's a number of YouTubers that have some popular channels. Mercenaut, a couple other guys. I can't remember what they're called, Lords of Bronze Age or something like that. They're there. A few others. This is in the Cleveland, Ohio area. Tony Isabella is a regular there because he lives locally, about probably 20 minutes away from the convention. He now goes by Jenny Isabella. He's transitioned over, at least in appearance. So these books are from that convention, and I regrettably have two epic fails. So this first book is a slab that I purchased. This seller, first time I've seen them there actually. Every year, and again, this is like their 10th annual Comic Con, I believe, and they have over time started bringing in more vendors appearing at this con. You know, some of the vendors go as far as HeroCon in North Carolina, Pennsylvania, SteelCon. Some more local shops. Some are guys that just sell out of their garage. They come to this con. I've considered it, because the tables are only $250, which is, from what they tell me, which is, I guess, a really good price for vendors. But this is the first time I've seen this vendor, and he had a small box of slabs that he was clearancing out. He had quite a bit of slabs, but he had one small short box of slabs that were 60% off the price he had stickered. And so this was one of them. This is my third copy of this particular issue slab. When it came out, this is Catwoman 15, and then Catwoman 4. I've purchased a number of copies of the Art Germ I've shown before. I've gotten two of these covers, also slabbed at 9.8, that I think I paid anywhere between $60 to $100 for. This is the Michelle Pfeiffer Batman 2 movie homage, the costume that she wore. It looks like Michelle Pfeiffer. It was 60% off. And so the price he had on it was $50. And so, I said, is it 60% off the price that's off this $50? Because at first I thought maybe the $50 was representative of 60% off. He goes, no, it's 60% off the 50. And so I said, sold, because that makes this $20. And if you know slabs, it costs $35 to slab a book, a modern book. And so I bought that book, and then I bought this book for $15, which is in near mint. I took it out, looked at it. It's complete. I actually thought I didn't have this book, but I ended up having that issue. But for $15, I thought that was a good price. It's the last John Byrne issue on his Uncanny X-Men. But my fail was, on the wall of his stand, he had Lois Lane 107, the issue where they turned Lois Lane black for a day. And I have 3 of those books. I'm actually surprised they have not made a facsimile of that issue yet. But I have 3 books, copies of that, in high grade. One is in really high grade, probably a 9, if not better. The other 2 are 7.5. and his was more than mid grade. I wouldn't call it high grade, but it was more than mid grade. And he had the prices on the back of the book. And before I turned it over, I said, "Well, what do you have?" After I took it out, and I said, "What do you have on this? 200?" He goes, he couldn't remember, and I turned it over, had $100 on it. I was like, "Oh my lord, I should buy this book," but I already had 3 copies. And one of the things that prevented me from buying it is because the service for the internet was down in the entire convention, which was really, a chronic problem at this place. And I'm surprised the vendors didn't complain about it, because everyone only took cash. And the closest ATM machine, well, they have an ATM machine in the convention hall, and they said that all the money had been taken out, so there was no more cash, and you'd have to drive away, go to a local bank to get more money if you didn't have enough cash. And so I said, okay, let me walk around and see what else I have, since I have 3 copies of it, and see if I want this book or not. The seller that I was looking for, I know, who has been there every year but was not there this year, takes only cash. And he's the guy that in one of my videos I showed some Uncanny X-Men low 100s. I think 107, the first time they called Logan, the Origin of Storm. I think it was like 105 or 104. And really high grade early bronze issues this guy always has. And I typically buy, at least 1, 2, 3 books in the $100 range from him. And so I only had brought like $600 or $700 in cash. I almost didn't come to this convention because I go every year. It is typically the same sellers, and this guy was new, and I knew what I was looking for, so I was like, okay. And I forget, when time got away from me, and by the time I went around, they were already closed. They closed at 5. It's a 1-day convention, and they were already taken down. So I should have bought that book when I had a chance. I had 2 huge fails, and that was one. But the rest of the time, I got a lot of good books that I wanted, and so it was worth my trip. And the admission price for the convention is only $5, which is just amazing price for a convention this day and age. It's a lot of fun. This year my son did not go because we had just gotten back from NYC, and he had spent a lot of money and he didn't want to go. But I think he was just tired because he doesn't spend his own money anyway when we go. I just buy him stuff, but he didn't want to go. But I did fill out a number of books for my Amazing Spider-Man run that I'm trying to finish. So one of the things I'm trying to do is to complete my run of Amazing Spider-Man 200 to current. So all of Volume 1, all of Volume 2, all of Volume 3, whatever the current volume is. I am missing probably maybe 30 books of Amazing Spider-Man. A lot of the books I'm missing, with the exception of a few McFarlane issues, are not super expensive. They're $10 books from a reasonable seller. And a lot of them were books that came out when I was in college or in med school, where I just didn't buy a lot of comics. And so, or I was in high school and I had limited funds and I didn't buy these books. So anyway, Amazing Spider-Man 228, 233, 235. These are all $10 books online. They're not worth $10 in my opinion. Amazing Spider-Man and Batman are the most highly printed books there are. And these are books they're not going to make facsimiles of. I mean, I can't see them making a facsimile copy of 235 here, or even 237. I mean, these are all high grade. They're VF near mint minus on average. They all look great in Mylar, and these are really just complete my run. This is 271. And what else I want to say? But again, I'm trying to complete 200 up. Again, I'm missing about 30 books prior to this video. I do have a few of the issues from 100 to 200. Not a lot, but a fair amount. At that time, I was probably, when they were in the one teens, little kid, and we only really got one or two books a week from 7-Eleven at a quarter, and then or 20 cents, and the rest of the books were flea market finds before comics weren't expensive. So 285 looks high grade. Mike Zeck cover, great looking cover. One of my pet peeves is there's a water stain on the back, which you cannot see on the front. It looks like a drop of water or something had gotten on the back of the comic, and just at the bottom. It probably could be cleaned and pressed out, but again, this is probably a little bit more valuable than the others because of my exec cover. But still, it's a good placeholder. It might be I may never get around to getting another copy of that, but if I find it for cheap, I'll upgrade that. 290, 296, great John Byrne cover. 401. Again, none of these books are expensive books. They range from 10, probably the Punisher one was probably a $15 book, but 10 to $5 on average. I think they're really only worth $1. 405, 407, 425, and the books that I'm missing are just random books. 428. This is volume 2, technically number 2. Number 17, John Byrne run, and then number 28. Then I think it goes to like 32 or 33 maybe with the J. Scott Campbell covers. And then they go back to regular printing and numbering in like the 400s. But to get those books, I didn't pay but approximately $1 to $2 per book. The seller is a seller I bought from multiple times, and because I bought a big, semi big book from him, he gave me these for like $1 a piece. Or $2 a piece, I think. Maybe $2 a piece. I think he had like $5 on them, but they're not worth $5. But the book that I bought from him, I bought this book here. This is probably a near mint minus book. He had the McFarlane cover that's been swiped and homage so many times with the black, and 300 obviously has the black costume, and then 301 has the return to the red and blue. But this is the first time I've owned this first print cover comic. And he had it for 120, and I got it for 100. It is in near mint minus, solid condition. It still looks pretty great. It's still a very crispy white cover. There's no spine ticks, which is great. Looks great in Mylar. And so now of the McFarlane issues, I am missing one other issue after the next one I'm going to show you, which is 298. So 298. What do you want to say about that? Not a lot to say about that. I mean, it is what it is. McFarlane, one of the first McFarlane Spider-Mans, looks great. Still high, near mint minus. One of the nice things is I was going around the convention near the end. I didn't really realize it was about to end at 5, but it was. And I learned that, actually from this seller, I learned that the ATM was out of money because there was no internet service Everybody had gotten what they could out of the ATM machine. There was no more cash, and the vendors were, and rightfully so, they were upset that there was no internet service, there was no cell service, they couldn't use credit cards. They would have to walk out to the outside if they wanted to pay. And, if they were a solo booth operator, there was no one to watch their stuff. I don't necessarily think anybody would steal, but you never know. And so the guy had, I think he had $100 on this book, maybe even a little bit more, because he had 2 copies, and this was the higher grade. And I said maybe it's VF plus. I told him. He said, he had it listed as VF near minus. And I looked at it, I took it out. I was like, maybe VF, because it was a stretch, but you can see it's not a spine roll, but I don't know if it was just printed wrong, because you see how this is crisp and then, or not crisp, but is lined up, and that one's, the back pages are not completely lining up closed. And so I pointed it out to him, and he said, I sell it to you for $75. But I think more of it because it was the end of the convention, and I don't know if he had sold a lot, and he was also a new seller to me there. I hadn't seen him there before, so he gave it to me for $75 with a top loader, which I don't use top loaders. I just use Mylars and Mylar 2s, Mylites 2s, and fullbacks. So it looks great. So now with that book, the only book I'm missing in the McFarlane run is $2.99. I did see a copy of $2.99 there, but as I was going around, I couldn't remember which vendor had it, and since they were closing, I just couldn't go around and find it. I did go back and get another book from a vendor that I have purchased many books from over the years, which is this book here, which is my third copy of my favorite artist, Adam Hughes. Wishing him well. Haven't heard any update on his cancer recovery. I'm sure he's had his resection and is getting adjunctive chemo and radiation. But, I mean, come on. $20 for this. I have a 9.8 graded, and then I bought another copy before that is similar in condition, where there is no spine ticks at all. I mean, this is a sharp book. In that condition there, that's easily $50, if not $60. Great Tomb Raider's Journeys Adam Hughes cover. And to give me another copy for $20, I went back. I told the seller, if he still has it at the end of the convention, I'll come by and buy it from him, because I just couldn't leave it there. But since I had 2 copies already, and I was trying to go around and seeing what else I could get, that I wanted, because it was, at that point cash only, I could always go back and get that. And so it was still there at the end, and I bought it for $20. He actually told me 25, but since he was taking his wall down, he said, I'll give it to you for 20. And I said, okay, thanks. Now, the next book, I had actually never seen this comic before. This is Tomb Raider cover gallery with an Adam Hughes cover. Now, it's a great... all it is covers from Tomb Raider. They have a lot of Adam Hughes covers in there. They have other, artists like Michael Turner, R.I.P., Silvestri, Tan, and Tony Daniel. But they had a showcase more of Adam Hughes in there. So the seller, who I've bought books from before, he was selling half off what he had labeled. And so he had this labeled at $10. And when I first went up there was a guy that had a copy of this book in his hand. And I was like, dang it, I missed it. And again, half off 10, so $5. And so then I was like, well, let me see what he has in there. Now this is the same seller. A year ago, I bought all those Jenny Frison covers of Wonder Woman for 50 cents, along with several other books for 50 cents. He didn't have 50. He didn't have his 50 cent, but he had a half off. And so he had probably 5 copies of this. And so I decided to buy 2, thinking, $5. That's not bad. And this was my other fail. This book is a $50 book. I should have bought them all. I thought about buying them all, but I didn't want to be greedy, and and I didn't know if the seller would try to, which I don't think he would have, but change the price on me. And once he saw I was buying them all, but for $5, I should have bought every single one of them. But I didn't realize they were going for $50, easy $50. So that was my second fail of the convention. I really should have gotten those. And then I bought 2 more Adam Hughes Wonder Woman. I have 2 issues left of his Wonder Woman run by Adam Hughes that I am missing. That's 142. None of these are the big books in that run. And 145. One of the other issues I was missing, the seller did have, but it just was not in the grade that I wanted. And these books are $8 books. On an average, a reasonable seller is going to try to sell these for $8. And so, and that's kind of what they're worth, and that's kind of what I paid. I paid $8 a piece for these 2 books. Actually, I paid less because he gave them both to me for 15. So I think he might have had $10 on this one and $8 on this one, and he sold them both to me for $15. And so 2 more issues crossed off, and I'm happy with that. And again, 2 more books, none of which are expensive books in the Wonder Woman run. I am going to find them at some point, I think, in the wild, I hope. If not, if I get frustrated enough, I'll just buy them off the internet. Off of eBay. Some more Adam Hughes, Black Cat #3. Not a bad cover. Not my favorite cover from his run. This is variant by Lucas Wernick. Which, it's not a bad cover. I mean, it's cover price. I mean, it's not anything special. What else I got? There's some other Black Cat #9. This is Chris Anka. Also, nice looking cover, all black, near mint. It was New Comic Wednesday purchase. Black Cat #9. The regular cover A by Adam Hughes. Kind of like that cover. A little different. Almost looks like a version cover just by the way they played the title in the background. But that is cover A. Number 11. Who's this? Phil Nato? Yeah, I think this is Phil Nato. Or Nato, don't know how you say it, but looks good. I like the cover background with the Punisher emblem. Here's a homage by someone I never heard of. Kafu, number 11. Nice looking cover. And then the cover A by Adam Hughes, which, it's okay. I mean, it's not bad. I like that. Got 2. I think I may have shown that in another video too, because I bought a bunch of those covers. And then the J. Scott Campbell, which I think I made a comment for. I think Punisher looks too skinny there. Another copy of the best Adam Hughes cover ever. Supergirl Legion of Superheroes #23. Facsimile. Here's Superman Spider-Man #1. Spider-Woman Adam Hughes with Supergirl. Here's another one of those. Black Cat #3. I can't remember who does. Lucas Wernick. And then we got Gun Honey that just came out, right? This came out just recently. Gun Honey Double Down #1. The art interior is not great. Buying them only for the cover. That's Art Germ. Here's the Virgin variant. Great looking cover. And then the Adam Hughes one. Beautiful cover. If you remember, he had the lady coming out of the water on the beach for Gun Honey #1. This is Gun Honey Double Down. Here's the Virgin variant, first print, and then the foil variant, which is shiny and looks nice. All right. Now, I don't know much about this artist here. I've never seen her before, but this is Rebecca Puebla. Something's Killing the Children, number 48. It came out in August. Kind of looks a little like Pablo Villalobos, or even a little bit like Adam Hughes. See if we can get it without the glare, right? It was an FOC variant, so I don't think the cover was image was released prior to final cutoff, but did I pre-order that? I don't think I did. I think I ordered it not knowing what the cover was, just take a chance on it. Here is a gorgeous Alex Ross cover of Avengers Armageddon #1 from this month. Now, I don't know much about that. I don't know if it's going to be a tri-panel or what, because it looks like it is, but the back is not a wraparound. So I'm assuming there's more covers that are coming. I don't know, but that is polybagged, and I don't know why, but it is polybagged. Yeah. Another Alex Ross cover. I mean, I don't know why his covers don't get the love that it should, but that's #1. Infernal Hulk, right? Great looking cover. Number 8, Alex Ross. Love that cover. All right, what else do I want to show? Let's show you some dollar books. So this is Web of Spider-Man number 48, first full appearance of the Demogoblin. Okay, for $1. And then some Bronze Age Incredible Hulk that I bought because they were in high grade, number 204. Probably VF minus for that one because there's a little chip missing. I didn't notice that when I first got it, but it looked in high grade. And then this one is VF or Fine Plus or VF, number 208. These books I got for $1. Terminator #1. This is from 1990. This is the first appearance of Terminator in comics. I remember when that book came out, it sold out. I missed it. I was a senior in college, and like I've said before, funds were allocated to other expenses at that time, and so comics was not a priority. Although I did want that book, by the time I got to the shop, it was gone and sold out, and I'm pretty sure that was a LCS only purchase. You couldn't find that in like a newsstand like they used, like in the old days. It just wasn't a newsstand comic. It was a Dark Horse. It was a LCS only. So I got it for $1. I think that's the first time I've owned that book. That's really it. It is not entirely based on the movie. And then I got this. Now, this book is in high grade. I mean, this is a near mint book. And it is a gorgeous cover, kind of iconic cover of by Brian Boland. Action Comics, what is that, 609, where Black Canary is getting rid of this awful costume she used to wear. I mean, it was awful. and going back to her one of her, not her original costume, but a better looking costume. Uh, Definitely more sex appeal. Um, so I never had that book, and I thumbed through it before I bagged it. You know, she ain't even in this book. I mean, first of all, the stories are terrible, 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 and the artwork is as horrendous. I don't even know how Action, when they went to this Comics Weekly, stayed in business because they couldn't have been selling a lot. I mean, the artwork's terrible, the stories are terrible. This cover, she ain't even in the book, and there ain't definitely I mean, I looked through it multiple times. There's definitely no remnants of her in this either one of these costumes in this book. So this is a cover buy only, and I only paid $1, and that's probably what it's worth. I mean, it's not an expensive book. I think on principle only, with the Brian Boland cover, it should be worth at least $10, but it's not. Now these two books here I bought at the 40-cent sale. I just found them again in the bag. I loved Peanuts as a kid growing up. That's, I mean, there's all kind of stories about Charles Schultz and, you know, his silent protesting that he did and what he did at a time growing up when being vocal about racism was not as popular as it is now. I mean, it took courage back then to speak up, and he did, and I respect him for that. But this is Peanuts #2 by Charles Schultz. Just reprints in color some of the some of the classic comic strips. I don't think they're new stories. This is a 1 in 20 variant. #1 has Snoopy and Green. There's a Pigpen one, Linus, Charlie Brown one. I could only find that when I was, I almost didn't buy it actually. But then, me and my wife have been talking about Peanuts recently, about how, I loved Peanuts as a kid. Before Garfield, there was just Peanuts. And I saw that, and so I picked it up. And it's a 1 in 20 variant. And Linus #3, 1 in 20 variant. They were both in high grade, look great in Mylar. Very happy to add them to my collection. Now I didn't even know they existed, and now I'm going to be looking out for them. So, got a second print copy of Daredevil #3 with John Bernthal on it. I think the last video I didn't say his name right, but John Bernthal. And this is a great cover by David Aja, which is Deathstroke. Came out just this month, August 26th. David Aja, Deathstroke Terminator, great looking cover. There's a few more books I want to show. I like this movie, Supergirl. I thought the movie was okay. Millie Adcock, I thought, did a great job. I think the story was a little drugged out, but I like the movie. And people that bash it, again, if you've been around long enough to know what comic movies used to be and what they are today, I mean, anytime there's a reasonable comic movie that comes out, then I'm all for, being positive about it. And then this cover here, Supergirl #15, Chris Anka cover, very simplistic, but I think it's a beautiful cover. And then the last thing I want to show is really for the board. So Marvel Swimsuit Special #1 2026, the Adam Hughes cover, right? Usually I use fullbacks in my lights, and I recently found these clear backing boards at a reasonable price. That's what the back cover looks like. Looks great. To be able to see both sides of the book in the same bag is great, because usually what I do is I bag one on the back side and one on the front side and put them in together so that I know, because I buy multiple copies of Adam Hughes, and that's what I would do. But now to be able to display it like that, so happy to have that. I'm going to buy some more of those boards so that I can show off wraparound covers. And then same with this, the Mark Brooks cover. I tell you, I mean, they both knocked them out. I mean, Mark Brooks and Adam Hughes knocked those out of the park. Rogue, Captain Marvel, Incredible Hulk, She-Hulk, Mary Jane, and then Black Widow. What else do you want to say? I mean, gorgeous cover. Love the clear backing board. I think the backing board's like $1 a piece for the clears, and so not quite $1. I think it was $20 or $25. So, but there you have it. That's my haul. We'll talk later. Peace.